If I had a nickel for every comic book that I collect that has a 20-cent cover, then I would have 15 cents, 25 cents. No, I. Hey there, today I have an unboxing video, and in this video I'm going to open up an order that I placed with Mile High Comics, specifically targeting older comics with a 20-cent cover. My theory is with some of these books is that this is a sweet spot for finding books that are available that maybe are at the tail end of supply in terms of condition, where I'm trying to gather as many as I can in high grade, because I do believe, of course, as time passes, that books like these become harder to find, scarce, particularly in high grade, which I believe will help the longevity of these books' value. Now, there is a premium that you're going to pay for these kind of books, and Mile High is certainly one of the leaders in paying premium for these kind of books. And I don't mind doing it because I do take advantage of their keyword coupons. This order was a 60% off order. I will typically try and hold out for at least 60%. And recently, they've even escalated that coupon up to 65% and then even 70%. And I think I placed orders at those two coupon tiers as well, and look forward to sharing those unboxings in the future. But this one is special to me and specific because I wanted to really focus on the availability and opportunity to acquire these books with a 20-cent cover price. And with most of my orders, there's a few stragglers in here that maybe don't fit that criteria, but I'm always trying to maybe create some sort of theme out of an order that I put together. And this one really was centered around this 20-cent cover price. Now, all of these books, too, are listed in near mint condition. There's one that I remember picking up that was very fine, so I'm interested in looking at the condition of that one. But what I'm going to do with this specific order, there's a lot of books to get through, so I want to unpack this shipment and show you which books I picked up from Mile High Comics. And I'm going to do it all in less than 10 minutes. So let's take a look at the books that I picked up from Mile High Comics. Okay, here it is. A little bit of a larger FedEx package. I always choose FedEx when I'm shopping online at Mile High Comics. You have that option to choose. It defaults to USPS. For no additional charge, you can switch to FedEx. And if your order exceeds $65, it's free shipping. You pay optionally for insurance. I always add the insurance, and Mile High has never let me down with their shipping. But I am curious to see how a larger order was packed, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. All right, I'm super excited to open up this stack of older comic books, and let's get it started here with House of Mystery 223. This is from 1974, cover art by Luis Dominguez. And I think if you're thinking of House of Secrets, House of Mystery, you have this upper tier of Neil Adams, Bernie Wrightson, and then maybe the next tier of artists. And these artists have their own following, whether it's Dominguez or Kaluta, and these group of artists that all contributed to these specific books in this era. And this book was in near mint condition, just giving it a quick scan up and down the spine. I'm just always amazed that when we're talking about this book from 1974, here being 50 to 51 years later in this good of condition. The color on this also is outstanding. And there it is, that 20-cent cover that you'll see on just about all of the issues in this order. So good start here. The next one is Rima the Jungle Girl, number 2. A very, very tough and difficult high-grade comic. And what I will say is, even though the color looks really amazing and sharp up here in the trade from this book, also from 1974, corners look pretty good, but there are a number of color breaking ticks here. This one in particular is a little bit of an eyesore right in the center of the spine. which might prevent it from being a 9.8 candidate, but still just amazing condition for a book of this age. And Joe Kubert here on cover art. And so what I'll do with a lot of my lists that I compile is I'm looking for certainly books that I think have a price point where it makes sense to take a chance on getting them in high grade. And then I also have a list where I just sort it by the most affordable 20-cent covers. And that's pretty much the only criteria, is going through and seeing what they have for sale. And as I compile these lists, just do a basic sort. And so some of these books you'll see that do have the 20-cent covers, not this one, but the one underneath is one of those. This one was simply a book that was listed in Near Mint that came out in their daily updates. And this is Incredible Hulk 257. And I mentioned a few stragglers got in here, and already seeing an issue down here in the corner. So you do take a chance with Mile High, and this is sometimes why I try to buy quality, but also in quantity, because I don't want to buy that one book and get disappointed and have it grade out as a 9.0 and then get frustrated because they're not near mint when I've had some success with other books. So I try to get some number of books and then cherry pick out of that order the books in the best condition, and really it's all sight unseen. This one's from 1981 and introducing the Arabian Night here. The spine looks to be in good shape, just slightly miswrapped, which is protecting it, but we also have a color break right there. So this is an example of what I would say is the Mile High near mint, which is somewhere between 9.0 and 9.2, and that will happen. Let's check out the condition of the others. This is Kull the Conqueror number 7, and it is an example of one of those pickups from my list of trying to get a couple of just the most affordable, most available 20-cent cover. Kull the Conqueror, not necessarily a popular title or well collected, but again, my theory is over time, these 20 centers are going to be kind of collectible on their own. Again, unfortunately, 3 solid color breaking spine ticks right here in the middle of the spine. So has no shot at a 9.8 and very little to no value. Like if that one came back an 8.0, I don't think it's an 8.0, but just pointing out the difference, there are plenty of examples of 20-cent covers in much less than a 9.8 that have quite a bit of value. Kull the Conqueror, not so much. And I'm going to just go ahead and skip to this one because it is the other Kull book that I picked up. Kull the Conqueror number 6 has that really cool framed style cover where the trade is all blocked off, and then you have the art there solid on the bottom. Disappointing again. Color breaking tick right in the center, and then also down here near the lurker from below, right there, another color breaking tick. It's tough. I have seen some of these books come back around a 9.6 with these color breaking ticks, and so it'll just be a kind of a judgment call to see if it's these are books that I want to have continue on their journey to get cleaned and pressed. The other thing to note too is with these 20-cent covers, the age of the book, the release date is going to be pre-1975 for the most part, and that's an additional cost to have those books graded by CGC. And you also have to work with your presser because sometimes they will also follow suit and charge you a little bit more for those comics in the vintage tier. So it's something I think about too when I'm picking these up, is it's not such a straightforward process as it is submitting books at the modern tier. A modern book that slipped in, this is Wonder Woman 208. Cover art by J.G. Jones. This is from 2004. Just straight up cover buy, value buy. This one looks to be in nice condition. So I do see right there in the trade, there's right there in the end, you can see there's some sort of crease or indentation right here. So this one will need a press, but has a shot at a 9.8 at least. The next one up is Special Marvel Edition number 10. This is not only a 20-cent cover, this is cover art featuring Nick Fury, Howling Commandos by Jack Kirby. Solid red and yellow cover, drastically and wildly miswrapped here. So this is quite something. Not a huge fan of these, but definitely has a couple of non-breaking pressable ticks here that won't show up in the spine. I am looking at this corner here. It looks like a lot of these books have some corner trouble. Now this one, this is House of Mystery number 210. This was the book that I picked up in very fine condition. This is a Kaluta cover. I've always loved this specific issue of House of Mystery, and just giving it a once over, there's not much of a condition difference between this one and some of those near mint copies. Yeah, it has a little bit of discoloration. That could be ink, it could be dirt right there, but for the most part, it looks pretty strong. I would say it does have a little bit of stress to the spine here, but it'll be interesting to see if I do decide to send some of these books in for cleaning and pressing. It's hard for me to tell the difference. I don't particularly like that. I know that they play some game at Mile High Comics, like they push some near mint copies down when it's borderline between the grades to either get them to sell, help with the inventory. Don't really quite know, to be honest, why they would grade a book and then put it into a different category. But I took a chance with that one, getting it as a VF, and paid a little bit less than I would have if it were near mint, and it looks to be great. Here's Defenders number 7. Love this single digit issue from 1973. The Defenders here facing Atuma, and then looking at the condition here, very sharp edges, decent corners, bottom edge looks to be okay. Something here on the bag, hopefully is not pressing into the bottom of the book. Corner just slightly blunted, and spine is really nice, pretty strong on this one. So I don't want to say this is a 9.8 candidate, but it is a candidate probably that I would consider for cleaning and pressing. This one, Amazing Adventures number 22. This was in that pile or on the list of inexpensive, relatively speaking, 20-cent covers. And looking at the condition of this one quickly, spine looks to be okay. I think there is something right in the yellow that's breaking color right there. And then same thing, corners just slightly rounded. So hopefully you're kind of picking up what I'm seeing in terms of the condition of some of these where they're listed as near mint books and the color breaks are just rough. I don't mind any creasing and things like that, but just seeing the color breaks right in the spine kind of limits its ceiling. This one though, Werewolf by Night number 40, I was glancing at the spine as I was talking. This one looks to be much better. I mean, it has some ticks along the spine, but they don't seem to break color, and the corner is just slightly rounded, but sharper than the other books. Up here with just the slightest of color loss near the corner, and then there's some wrinkling right as I move the light back and forth. No color breaking, but the book definitely needs to be pressed. I would have pressed all these books anyway. And then same thing, a little creasing on the bottom. So this one I think is probably more typical of what I'm looking for, where there's a number of pressable defects on the book. Of course, you don't know that until you get the book in hand. And then the last one was probably the biggest or most expensive book in this order. This is Vault of Evil number 3, a wildly miswrapped book as well. And that will happen. Great Frank Brunner cover. Love him on Doctor Strange. Really cool to see him on Vault of Evil number 3. And I was just checking, the bag has something on it right there, and you can see it moving back and forth. So that's not on the comic. Striking colors on this one. So I hope I lucked out here, because this would be really, really nice if this ended up grading out by CGC in a high grade. But I'll do this too. I will look at maybe some of the other horror titles that don't necessarily pop like House of Mystery and House of Secrets do, but there you have it. There's my collection of 20-cent covers that I picked up from Mile High Comics. Just a really nice assortment of books, and also a mix of process as well. Like I said, I'm looking at availability, cheapest book that meets my criteria, and then also best value within that criteria. And because I do a lot of spreadsheet work, then I'm able to compile these lists, use VLOOKUPs and other things, and be able to sort and filter and create these filtered views that allow me to really kind of zoom in and focus on a particular segment of book. Oh, first let me say that I did finish the unboxing in under 10 minutes, but the last point I just want to make quickly is that for whatever reason, like the top half of the stack, the condition, as I was looking at the books in hand, didn't seem to really be in that kind of 9.2 to 9.6 range that I would expect. Several of the books having multiple color breaking ticks. that really, I think that those books should have slid down into the VF category. But the reason that I do this and I deal with some of those disappointing books is that you do end up getting some books that are better than expected. And it's just a product of purchasing. And you could argue that's too much risk. And I understand that. But what I try to do is make sure that I at least limit the risk by choosing the right books so that if they don't grade out in a 9.8, they still have some value. I'm super excited to add these pre-1975 20-cent covers to my collection. I'm always excited to add those, and I'm always excited to grade those out and send them on the rest of their way as part of my comic collecting journey. Thank you for watching. Happy collecting, and see you next time.